Welcome back, guys. It's been a while. As always, you got my boy Kev and Clayton with me. How you guys doing?
Doing well,
So
man. Doing well. Since we've last recorded, school's out. I'm working full time. I finally got a little bit of money.
Nice.
It's a quality feeling. Quality feeling for sure.
Kev?
let's go. I love that. First of all, breaking news in the NBA: Nikola Jokic has been named the MVP. Some might be shocked. Voter fatigue. What? What voter fatigue? He's back in the MVP mix, but my week hasn't been nearly as cool. Well, he's down 0-2, so I don't even know if he's really having a good week. But my week's doing pretty well. Assuming that my car gets fixed on time, Wade, I will be calling all of the action of the Lima Warriors versus the Flag City Phantoms. And if you had gone back in time anywhere 17, 15, 12 years, and you had told Kev that there's going to be a Findlay versus Lima football game and that I would be working for the Lima team, I might have spit at you because I was a little bit of a ruffian at that age. So, apologies about that. I was very rude, but yeah, here I am calling football now. So I am just so blessed and honored to be doing that for our partners, Black Swamp Productions. So powered by good old Carnage Media right there, and shout out Bite Size Sports. But my first regular season game will be this Saturday. So of course, my car broke down 3 days before. So fingers crossed it gets fixed in time. But other than that, dude, we're great. Wade, how are you? I think you might have the toughest job right now outside of your 9 to 5. So we thank
Yes.
you for coming back.
yes. So had to take a little hiatus. Well, planning my wedding. Got about a little less than 30 days now until get married in Costa Rica.
So if this is our last month of podcasts, you know what happened.
We've lost him, Kev. We've lost him.
Somewhere lost on the beach.
That is great.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back and congratulations. I hope it's all going well. I know it's
Thank you.
not
Thank you.
official yet, but very excited for you there. And also, I mean, we're excited to bring this show back, right? Wait, I got to see. It's been a
Absolutely.
minute, so I forget. Like, I'm not even driving here. What you're driving? So, but I'm excited. You can clearly
I know.
like, subscribe, fire away a comment if you've got thoughts or questions for us. That is my job. I'll work the comments over here. And in the meantime, I will hand the baton back to the boss man.
Hey, yeah. So there's been a lot that's happened in the past couple weeks that we've been out. Obviously, the big one, UFC 300. That was a fire card, and I still think I'm coming down from that.
You and the UFC both.
The greatest combat sports event ever. Period.
Period.
Ever.
I agree with you. It was banger since fight one.
Exactly.
off-
Everything went crazy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, bringing that in, fight one, Bobby Green, Jim Miller took his.
That was just a bloody war.
Took a loss.
Jim Miller
there.
got the crap kicked out of him. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he did. I wasn't expecting that, honestly. I thought it'd be a little back and forth. But,
yeah.
Nope.
Jim Miller needs to headline a fight night and then ride off into the sunset.
I agree. Come back for UFC 400.
Oh my God. Could you imagine? Just train in silence, just come back.
I feel like he's come back walking in with
wheel
a
him
cane.
out.
Yeah. They got to have him be like
He's gonna
the
be an iron lung.
Yeah.
He's got to be involved somehow, but man, for the love of God, yeah, let's not have him be the opening bout of 400.
Yeah. Another notable, well, I guess Kayla Harrison's debut came in, did what we pretty much thought she was going to do. I was hoping Holly Holm would cause the havoc there, but yeah, she came in and just dominated.
Yeah, she won that fight start to finish. Obviously, the weight cut didn't hurt as much as people were speculating that it might. Yeah, good luck everybody at bantamweight right now. I don't see one person in the UFC right now outside. Amanda Nunes has already hinted at a return, so we'll see. She's the only one on the planet, I think, right now that has a chance at beating her. So,
Oh, for sure. I would.
yeah,
Good luck
with
that would
that
be.
one, gang.
That would be amazing if we could catch that fight. Kayla goes in there, wins the belt eventually, and then Nunes comes back and's like, "I'm still king or queen."
Hot take: we see that fight before we see Jones Stipe.
Absolutely.
Wait, didn't Jones? Was it on social media? Where did I heard that John Jones said he has a date with Stipe, but that he's waiting for the boss man to announce it. Are you guys pressing
He's
X out
been,
on that? Because I
yeah,
would.
he's been
I don't
all
believe
over social media. He called Tom Aspinall the number one contender, and it's almost like he's literally the interim heavyweight champion because he's just trying to
Oh,
not
he's
fight him.
paying a lot of attention, isn't he?
He's been posting who would you want me to see fight Tom or fight Alex Pereira?
Hey, I
He's
just
been
want to see him
active.
go to more comedy clubs and pick fights with comedians. That's what I want to see.
It'd
let
be
the
nice
good
if he
times
just
roll.
got in there. You're
Well,
supposed to be the GOAT. Get in there and fight. Doesn't matter who, just fight.
Yeah,
You're over holding up the heavyweight division for nothing.
and heavyweight's such a fun division right now. Like, let's make this happen, y'all. Come on now.
I know. There could be so much more excitement. Everybody loves the heavyweights when they get in there and swing because anything can happen.
Anything.
I know we've said I think I may have said these exact words before on this program, but I feel like it comes up. It's like a full moon. You know, once every 4 weeks, we have to mention how disappointing it is that John Jones is one of, if not the greatest UFC fighter of all time, just because of how disappointing he is in all these other aspects. You know, not even talking about just the past. I mean, I don't have time to run through the list of bullshit that he has done outside of the sport to cost us great fight. What the only UFC that's ever been canceled, right, on him. Like it's such a bummer that one of, if not the most talented guys in that business just can't be a professional, just has no ability to just do and it's so frustrating because you just imagine so many people would kill for the skill set, and I don't want to take away what he did to get to where he is, but it just makes it that no one cares when someone without talent just screws around all day. No one cares, but when you're that talented, you're that good, and you just keep constantly screwing it up. You're holding up the heavyweight division, like Clayton said, at a time when it would be very exciting to be involved, and instead it's just where's Waldo? And I just I don't know. Maybe this is a hot take. Maybe I'm out of line here. I can't wait for John Jones to retire so we can just focus on the athletes that actually want to fight. And somebody eventually will be better. You know, we'll get somebody who will, I hope, theoretically, that will take that baton from him, because man, it's just irritating, dude. I
It
can't.
is.
I need to get you an I hate John Jones shirt, Kev.
Let's make it. Let's get it.
I want to love, dude. There was a time, man. There was a time.
I know a guy that makes t-shirts.
I was a fan at first, just I broke bad.
You know, it's funny. I look back, and they know how to do the UFC embedded, and it was back when he was married. They showed his wife and everything, and kind of played him as a pretty all-around American dude. And now you just like,
Dude, he was like out here quoting Bible verses at people early on. He was the fakest nice guy of all time. It was so weird. Like, remember the "Hey Pussy, Are You There"? Like, remember that with Cormier
Classic.
on ESPN?
Yep.
Yeah. Like, I can't act like these are hilarious moments. Like, some of them were great moments. I can't lie. I can't act like some of them didn't enrich the history of the UFC. That being one of them. But damn, dude, like it was such. And DC was right all along. I think that's what he was saying all along. He's a fake nice guy. It's not who he really is. And then boom,
That's
we
a
got
top
to see it.
5 most iconic line in the history of MMA for sure, I think.
Yeah.
Dude, I watched someone, I believe it's Napoleon Blown Apart, shouts out to that YouTube channel, makes great MMA documentaries. And the John Jones documentary he made is literally titled, Hey Pussy, Are You There? The Story of John Jones.
That was probably
Oh,
like
I know what I'm doing after we're done here.
That was probably the greatest rivalry that was one-sided.
Yeah.
It sucks. I wish DC would have won at least one of them things. Because
I
that
thought he
would
was going to tear his ACL that day when Dana tells him and they have cameras on him and DC just starts stomping the concrete floor in front of him. He's like, let me sign a waiver, Dana.
yeah.
Let me sign a waiver. Let me can't do it. It's just like, oh my God, dude.
Because you got to think, at that point, he was like 38, 39. He'd been wrestling his entire life before transitioning to MMA. He doesn't have very many camps left in him at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's expensive. That's painful. That's just money that he just threw away because some dumbass failed another drug test.
Yep.
Like it.
And how does that impact your
Story
payday,
of John
right?
Jones is complicated.
Like you don't get your big payout if the fight doesn't happen, right? Even though you did all that work. I'm assuming there's something. I'm sure they didn't send him home completely empty-handed, but there's no way you're getting that full payout.
Yeah, you're not getting the pay-per-view buys, and you think it's the back end that people don't think about. Like they don't get their pay-per-view buys, they don't get their win bonus.
Yeah, thank God DC's good on the mic.
Yeah,
like otherwise he was pretty much done making money right there. I'd be stomping the ground too, probably at that point. Like, what do you say, Kimmy? I was gonna retire off this, man. I got investments to make.
Speaking of like heavy boys, I guess the light heavyweight has to pick up the slack for the heavyweight division. And speaking of that, Yuri came out with a KO.
That dude
UFC
eats
300.
punches with his face. Like I don't get his style, man. That guy's not built for longevity, but he's fun as hell to watch. Oh my God. Like I don't even know what to say about Yuri's style. Like I said, he literally just walks forward no matter what. He'll block a punch with his face and then just keep going.
He's there for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, facts. And seeing him get a big KO win, which wasn't even on the pay-per-view part, ladies and gentlemen, which is wild in and of itself, but we can move on from that and into our pay-per-view section. Bo Nickel submitted Cody Brundage. Boring ass fight, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, it was super boring.
That was the break, right? Break spot. It's just poorly timed because it shouldn't be right when the pay-per-view starts that you get the break spot. Right. But for anybody who'd been watching all day, it was like, all right, I guess I could do a lap.
Yeah, it just uninspiring performance from Bo Nickel, I think, is a good way to sum that up. But
yeah, he knew he fucked up when he got on the mic.
Yeah, when you go out there and perform like that, like that's just you kind of got to own it, and he did the right thing. But
yeah,
man, you got to learn how to throw them hands. Your wrestling base is about as good as they come, but you got to learn how to throw them hands.
Yep.
And then moving into our next fight, Arman Sarukian robbed Charles Oliveira.
I thought he had that. I thought he was gonna get that submission, but
yeah, he had him in a guillotine right at the end. I thought, man, I disagree. I really thought that because like Arman was on top, but like Charles was throwing up subs from his back like the entire time.
Active. He was active. Yeah, he was the more offensive guy and not the dominant position.
Yeah, that fight was a joke. I'm not happy that Charles Oliveira dropped that one. That was a poor decision on the judges in my part. But our next fight, gentlemen, almost didn't make it to the judges with 1 second to go. Greatest knockout in UFC history, Max Holloway flatlines Justin Gaethje at the end.
And you guys doubted him.
We did. We fucked up. It's that simple. We fucked up. There's no other way to put it. But, gentlemen, since we're to this part, I have a story to share.
Ooh.
Yes. Do me a solid and pull up the picture that I sent into the group from that day of where I watched UFC 300.
Oh, will do.
So while he's doing that, I'll go ahead and start. So I was at some Air Force training that weekend. I was in meth country, Southern Ohio. Let the good times roll. And it's very hilly out there. So like, I looked at my buddy and I was like, dude, we're walking to the top of this hill. That's where we are camping. So that way I can get enough signal where we can watch the UFC later. He was like, all right, perfect, whatever. So we walk up there, make our shelters, and night falls. I sneak away just in time to see Bo Nickel walk out, and I get my phone to work. Just enough signal. And I'm watching this fight, and I couldn't really yell because like people were trying to sleep. So like if something cool happened, I couldn't really do anything. But I watched Max like point when he was clearly up 4-0 with 10 seconds to go. And I was like, what the heck? What? All right, whatever. And then when he flatlined Justin Gaethje, I was like, yep, that's it. That's my legs. That's a poncho that the Air Force gave me. That's called a Ranger Diamond. My legs were down there. That's at the top of a hill.
Close to that.
That is awesome.
But I was like, I looked at my buddy because he was sitting next to me. We were both sitting on the same tree. And I was like, oh my God. Justin Gaethje looks dead. It blows my mind. Such a crazy moment.
Yeah, that momentum shift it really happened at the end of that first round when Max did that spinning kick, broke his nose, bruised his nose, and you saw that start to take effect, and Max just did what he does best and just was boxing.
Yeah.
But kudos to Justin Gaethje though for getting, well, it was ruled a slip, but Max even said he got knocked out.
We all know he knocked him down. We all know it. I don't care what your dumb statisticians say and Zach. That was a knockdown. I even turned to my buddy and said, look, Max Holloway just got knocked down for the first time in his UFC career.
Yep. And I'm like, oh shit. I was like, dude, you got, come on, let's get back up. He's winning this.
Somebody crack the iron chin. It's possible. It's possible. But after that, like I said, I think it's the greatest knockout in UFC history. We moved
with that stand there, just like the point, he didn't need to do it. Just unbelievable. One of the top moments of all time. And I didn't get in there when we were talking about it before, but I just wanted to say real quick that I agreed with you, Clayton, about the Oliveira fight. That was frustrating. That was the one I forgot because I forgot that we had to cancel our original UFC 300 review. And I was like, shit, dude, I have notes. I was like, I have notes on my Google Doc. Hang on. And I was pulling those up while you were talking about Sarukin and Oliveira. So I just want to throw that in there that one was a very frustrating watch for me. But yeah, it was followed up by one of the greatest moments, one of the greatest knockouts. Like that, I think they should retire the BMF belt after that because there's what's better than having a 4-round lead. There's 10 seconds left saying, let's get in the phone booth and then knocking the dude out. Like retire it. There's never going to be a BMF. It doesn't matter how he loses, nothing's going to beat that moment. And it's a fake belt. I'm sorry to say that, but it's, you know what I mean? Like it's not it's kind of a gimmick prop belt anyway. It should probably be retired for a time being, maybe get brought back only after, long after Holloway has retired. But I don't know. You're never gonna one up that. So it's time to maybe put it on ice for a little while, I would say.
Yep. Let that one ride for a while.
And then next up, we had Zhang Weili versus, you guys know I can't do names. We'll call her Yan Xiaonan. That sounds right.
Yan Xiaonan,
I thought that Wei Li put her to sleep at the end of the first round, but she ended up winning the fight anyway.
She was napping. She was napping.
Got shook awake right at the end, and I was like, she's out. That's not okay.
Even the commentary, when they went to the corner, they thought there's some shady stuff going on with smelling salts to wake her up. But it was really just like them pressing in their nose to make pain so that like jolts your nervous system back up. So being knocked out.
But I think that Zhang Weili obviously dominated her the whole time. 49-45s across the board. I have no issue with that. And overall, that was a quality fight. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be kind of lost in the sauce a little bit because of how good the rest of the card was. But that was a quality fight. Nothing to take away from. But, gentlemen, main event. Alex Poatan Pereira got the job done against Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill. First round knockout. Right before it happened, Pereira took a low blow. Herb Dean steps in. Pereira's like, nope, I got it. And then just went in and finished him.
Yeah. That was the boss move ever.
That's nuts.
Even after Max, right? It's like we had two, what feels like, I don't know if they're top 5, Mount Rushmore, whatever, but we had two just iconic moments. Like those are the kind of moments that bring casual fans or people who aren't familiar with the sport in. They see that on Twitter. You know, back in my day, you'd have seen it, Sunday Morton eating some cereal on ESPN, and everybody be like, oh God, I got to catch the next UFC after seeing those two highlights. Now, it's way wider reach with Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Those are the kind of things that help grow a sport. That shit was amazing. But also, we were right about this one. If anything, maybe we still gave Hill maybe a little too much credit, it seemed like, just based on that performance. I don't want to be rude, and it's no knock to be outclassed by one of the greatest kickboxers ever. I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, but we did say coming in, or at least I remember my point being, if someone's going to beat this guy, it's probably not going to be a lesser kickboxer. It's going to be somebody who is specialist at something else, like a wrestler or somebody who's going to do something different. Like no one's going to stand up with Alex and beat him in that game. And that I think was made very evident.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
In the hands of stones.
I think that I don't even know who at light heavyweight beats Alex right now. Like the only guy I could think of is maybe Magomedov, but even then, man, every round starts standing. Like, you know what I mean? That's the great equalizer of mixed martial arts, is every single round will start on the feet. So with hands like Alex Pereira's got, it's going to be a fun as heck ride for as long as he's in the sport. He's so much fun.
I believe he's going to be the first ever 3-division champ in the UFC.
We're back to that, are we?
I've seen people on Twitter be like, oh, Aspinall, Jones are too big. Yeah, you're right. They probably are too big. But, dude, this guy's got some power from hell, like we saw. All it takes is one. Any idiot can get lucky on any given day, throw some wild – for Pereira, he'd throw like a quick left hook. Boom, out. Doesn't matter who you are.
I may be nominating myself for just top John Jones hater of the day, but I think John would avoid Alex. I don't think he would take the fight. I think he'd find a way out of it.
I don't think he would either.
I think he'll go way out to try to get Stipe, and then if he wins that, he's done.
He'd be like, why don't let's bring Chael out of retirement? That'd be a better fight. Let's pull some nonsense. I'll fight this guy over here.
I'm happy that you brought up Uncle Chael, actually, because he has been inducted, rightfully so, into the UFC Hall of Fame. He was on the losing end of a great title fight with Anderson Silva, was dominating. Silva threw up a triangle at the end and beat him. Fun fact, though, gentlemen, and everybody forgets this about this fight, is Chael wasn't even eligible to win the title because he failed a pre-fight drug test. Nobody will ever tell you that, but you can look it up. He failed a pre-fight drug test and wasn't even eligible to win the title.
Yeah, they definitely don't like to talk about it that way. When like that part doesn't get addressed directly anytime I hear that talked about. That's interesting.
But happy to see Uncle Chael undefeated, never lost in the UFC Hall of Fame where he belongs. Makes me smile.
Yeah. From the mean streets.
Yeah, the mean streets. There were years where his father didn't even make six figures.
Yeah. Tough, dude. So tough.
Yeah. But guys, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to cry looking at the fight night after UFC 300.
I'm still like, man, I feel like all the cards since then have been shit.
It's just gonna hurt. Like, I even texted you guys before this card. I was like, y'all just remember we had 300 last weekend. You can't.
This is the price.
We got to grind through these bad boys if we want to see more cards like 300.
Yeah.
A couple things I saw in here of note. Austin Hubbard, runner-up of we lost Kev. Runner-up of last season of the Ultimate Fighter. He walked away with a UD, 29-28 across the board.
Mm-hmm.
I won a little money betting against Austin Lane, former NFL football player. He got knocked out.
Yeah.
I thought he looked fine in the first round, showed some grappling, but dude, he got flatlined in the second round. So not a great look for him. I'd honestly never heard of either of these two flyweights that were in the main event, but hey, you don't see a flyweight knockout every day, and we saw one of those. So
yeah, I don't know. I think I've heard of Alex Perez, but I can't. Doesn't come to mind of watching him too much.
But thank God that's over. We move into UFC 301 over in Brazil. I didn't catch a whole lot of the prelims. I saw Drakkar Klose, who had one of the coolest knockouts I've ever seen. A guy had him in an armbar, and he picked him up and slammed the side of his head on the canvas and knocked the guy out. Awesome.
Yeah,
that was one of the coolest finishes I've ever seen. He had walked away with a UD.
Rampage vibes.
Yeah, seriously. exact same thing. Jack Shore was on the shit end of one of the worst stoppages I've ever seen in mixed martial arts. Did you guys see it?
I missed that one.
He had a cut on his shin. They stopped it for a cut on his shin.
I did hear about that. And then the doctor was sticking his fingers in it.
Yeah,
that's why
I was at Alexandria's in Findlay watching it, and I saw them like looking at it, and I was like, yeah, he's bleeding pretty good. Sure, let's give it a look. And then they waved it off, and I was like, okay, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen before in my life.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it needed stitches. Welcome to fighting. Like, I'm gonna be real with you guys. This is what I hate about MMA is how different it can be state to state, country to country. Yeah. I don't think that stoppage happens in the States.
I don't think so.
I really don't. But to move on from the prelims into the main card, Paul Craig got flatlined. He's probably near in the end of his run. Michelle Pereira, the most fun fighter to ever exist.
I thought there was going to be a little controversy.
First round guillotine.
I thought there was going to be a little controversy with him because he did that backflip and it kind of looked like he almost kneed him in the head while he was on the ground.
Yep.
He got lucky. You got to watch that.
Doesn't happen in the States. That's all I have to say. But gentlemen, the most important victory of the night. The Lionheart is back on track, boys. First round sub. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Maybe not be that old, huh?
He's a one-time title challenger. For those of you who don't know, broke into the UFC a little later, has kind of an ugly record. He was like 13-7 when he got into the UFC, and now he has like 60 pro fights, just 57, 58, or no, 57. I can count. Bowling Green guys, I'm sorry. 57 pro fights. Had kind of a tough run lately. Got knocked out by Ankalaev, lost a UD to Johnny Walker. Barely beat Ryan Spann. It looked like he got mugged by Khalil Roundtree because Joe Rogan says all the time, Khalil will fight you like he owes you money. Like you owe him money. And I was like, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, it does.
Won a sub, and we'll see how much longer he can hang around. Like I said, he's starting to get up there now. He's 35, but he's an old 35 if you catch my drift. He's got some miles on him at this point for sure.
Definitely does. He's been through some slugfest, taking a lot of damage.
He's been through it. But gentlemen, the King of Rio, Jose Aldo, walked away with a UD. That was the last fight on his UFC contract. I don't think we'll see him in the UFC again after this, but he'll go chase a couple boxing paydays. Good for him. Go get paid, man. Go make some money. You earned it.
He looked good.
Yes.
He looked real good.
Yeah, he looked great.
Now, for what it's worth, I believe,
realistically,
and this is what he would say, right? But I think he said he's gonna go talk to Dana about one more, another contract. But I'm kind of with you, Clayton. I think he can get some big money boxing paydays, and to be real, it'd be up to him whether he does the work or not, and just show up and fight, like whether it's a Paul brother or somebody else, and just take one of these big. That's what I would do.
He's a little small for the Pauls, but low key, Chael Sonnen versus Jorge Masvidal. Chael Sonnen's never lost, so I have to go Chael Sonnen. But
oh yeah, all day.
Yeah, I could see him low key. I could see him fighting like a Manny Pacquiao, like a Floyd, in an exhibition.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Just make a bunch of money.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I was like, yeah. Now that I think about it, all the celebrity boxers are a little bit higher in weight. So I'm like, oh yeah, I get. But still, yeah, there's money in there for him somewhere.
Go box and make some money.
Yeah, whatever he's fighting, I'll watch him fight. That beef has been cracking me up. John says there's the Chael and Street Jesus beef. Oh, okay, I haven't been keeping up with that. That's I've had my eyes on the real Street Jesus. Marcelino Rangel.
True. Pro debut May 25th. Be there, be square. Buy the pay-per-view twice.
That's right. We'll be there.
And then Alexandre Pantoja defeated Steve Erceg, however you say that, some Australian dude.
Such a disappointing, so
dude, he was right there
for Erceg. So first of all, I got hyped into Erceg. What was it? I don't remember the date in March, but his left hook, like that knockout, that clean knockout he had in March. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay. I was actually really excited for this, which was a bonus because it's like, oh, you expect UFC 301 after 300. You're like, okay, is this even going to be one to watch? And then you're like, oh, okay, hell yeah, I'm into this main event. Like I can get behind that. And I just was really disappointed at the outcome. Bummed for Erceg on that. But what did you guys think?
I thought, him getting a shot. He was number 10 ranked fighter in the division. Gets his shot, comes in there. He shows his skill. He has nothing to hang his head about. I think he's going to get the belt at some point. He needs to work on his wrestling a little bit, but I think he's going to win the belt at some point.
If Buddy didn't shoot so many takedowns in the 5th round, he wins that fight. I think. Yeah. I had it 2-2 going into 5, and then 5 hits, and I'm like, what are you doing, dude? You're not gonna take this guy down. Like it just it was frustrating to watch.
He did take a lot of shots in that field.
Yeah, it really felt like it just got away from him there in that final round. And again, so for what it's worth, I think the call was absolutely right. Like the defense, I'm not saying he should have won, and I'm disappointed for that. He was right there, and I know he's got that finishing power. I've seen it. We've all seen it. And so I just was a little disappointed to see it end the way that it did. But overall, pretty solid.
I think Erceg was a little defeated when Pantoja ate so many fucking rock hard shots. Like boom,
Yeah.
cracked his ass, and he just kept coming. Kudos to him. He's got a freaking chin on him.
I agree. It's hard to envision anybody at flyweight right now beating him in my mind. Who's going to beat him? These guys and heavyweights are like two of the most notoriously thin divisions in MMA.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Erceg was number 10. Who the heck is going to beat Pantoja? I'll give you the answer. Chael P. Sun. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I just, this dude could go down as one of the best of all time, in my opinion. I don't think that he can catch DJ yet, I guess, but great fighter. Interested to see what he does next. And gentlemen, we have another fight night this weekend over at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Headlined, of course, by fan favorite legend Derek Lewis. Counting on a big KO this weekend. He is the favorite, boys. He is the favorite. So off to a good start there. The Cringe Lord himself and owner of the most viral knockout in UFC history, and St. Louis, Missouri native Joaquin Buckley co-headlines this show against, it looks like a guy from Uzbekistan that I've never heard of, but this dude's 6'5". Like he's a big boy. 6'5" at 170 is big.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. It's like Slender Man.
Oh yeah, seriously. How the heck are you gonna get close to this guy? Like, it's not. And then to open up the main card, one of the most interesting heavyweight prospects I've ever seen before in my life. It's this dude from Cuba, Rebelis de Spagne. I watched this fight with Dylan Budka, actually, before Wade, pull your ears, while we were commentating an event one time. And this dude, like, he's 6'7", 261, Taekwondo black belt, and he's like going backwards in the cage. It looked like he just touched the dude with his right hand, and he just like spazzed out immediately. It's crazy how big he is and how much power he has. But a couple other important names on here. Chase Hooper. He's a big jiu-jitsu guy, young kid still. He was like 19, I think. Not 19, 21 when he got into the UFC. So he's only 24. He's been around. It's on a little bit of a skid, but honestly, when you're that young, like, you just got to figure it out. And I think he will. Yeah. He's got a good enough jiu-jitsu base. Terrence McKinney is the fight before him in the prelims. I watched his UFC debut in Atlanta, Georgia, and he got a 7-second knockout. So that was one of the cooler moments I've ever seen. I've kind of been a little bit of a fanboy of Terrence McKinney, but he ate the wildest knee on the Jamal Hill versus Glover Teixeira card. Some dude his mouthpiece got knocked out, and some dude, thank God, like, didn't hit him in the jaw. He hit him in like the side of his face, I think, because he would have knocked all his teeth out if he would have hit him in the jaw. It's the simple ones.
We appreciate your comment, Chris.
It's the simple ones. It's the simple ones. And then seasoned vet Jared Gooden making his return. Second fight of the main event. He's been around for a while, not in the UFC, but on the regional scene. He's only 30, but he's got almost 32, 33 fights, which is a lot. But especially before you make it into the UFC. So we'll see. This card, it's not thin, but like it's nothing crazy yet. But yeah. Another thing, boys, is UFC Louisville, or however the fuck you say it, you Kentucky people, was announced. Doesn't have a main event yet, but I'm really liking how this card's looking. Dominic Reyes, one-time title challenger. Raul Rosas Jr., youngest UFC signee ever. Thiago Moises, he's really good at 155. Hits like a train. Brad Katona, the only two-time winner of the Ultimate Fighter. Yeah, it's just missing a main event. Oh yeah, and Dustin Stoltzfus, that tomato can that Sean Strickland hates, so I hate him too. But just looking for a main event for Fight Night Louisville. So let's see. I saw Dylan Budka was tweeting today that he wants to jump on that card. Dana, make it happen, bro. Make it happen.
I'd be down for that. Ooh, we got a question from Chris here. Y'all think Dustin can pull the upset against Islam?
As long as he doesn't jump any fucking guillotines again, he might have a chance.
Yeah, you gotta stay standing. Gotta stay standing. Otherwise, no chance.
You can't get taken down to start, which Dustin's not a bad wrestler by any means, but like Islam, Khabib, those guys are on another level. Yeah. And I think that Khabib and Islam are very similar. And Dustin got beat by Khabib one time. He's taken a couple bad losses since then. I don't know, guys. This might be the end of the diamond. I've seen all those memes where it's like guys crying and singing his walkout song at the same time. And it's like Dustin Poirier knowing he might be walking out for the last time. Shine bright like a diamond. It's just guys singing it and crying at the same time.
Yeah. I thought he was on his downfall, but then he came back and got that knockout. Put him.
I'm gonna say with an asterisk for that knockout. Y'all can hate me if you want, but here's why. I think that Bentois Saint Denis had a staph infection.
It looked like it. Then he had it was like on his chest.
It was on his chest and it was on his forehead too.
Yeah.
And when you treat a staph infection, you have to take antibiotics. I think that killed his gas tank. Because he was all over him in the first round. I thought he was going to finish him in the first round there for a second. Mm-hmm. And then in round 2, he gassed out. Dustin jumped on him. So we'll see. This is by no means, guys, I'm one of the biggest Dustin Poirier critics ever.
Oh, yeah.
This is not meant to like disrespect Dustin. I don't know how many guys there are out there realistically that can actually beat Islam Makhachev.
Yeah.
I have a hard time going against you. I mean, he's got a puncher's chance, right? That's why that term exists.
This dude is one of the best boxers that MMA has seen in a very long time. He's one of the 3 best boxers in the UFC. The top 3, Max Holloway at 1. I would argue Dustin Poirier at 2. And then you put a guy like Sean Strickland. Those are my top 3 boxers in the UFC right now.
I can't refute that. That is pretty much my list as well. Like Dustin's got great box. He can keep it standing. He's got that puncher's chance, but yeah, he's gonna have to
betting on it.
He got to brush up on that wrestling.
Say, objectively speaking, gentlemen, Dustin Poirier loses this fight. There's only one fight in my mind that makes sense for him to take after this. And that fight is Colby Covington. That's the only fight to me that makes sense for Dustin Poirier after that, because he's not going to fight for the title again. Why not go kick the shit out of one of your least favorite people on earth, get a wild that could easily headline a pay-per-view. Headline a pay-per-view, you're making crazy money off of that, and then right off into the sunset after you kick his ass. Yeah, I think Dustin beats Colby, because Colby, what people don't know is Colby and Dustin are basically the same size. Dustin cuts a lot of weight. Colby, here's another hot take. Colby Covington could have been a champ if he would actually just cut to 55. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? He's such a good wrestler, but he doesn't cut weight. So I think that Covington should fight Ian Gary. Hopefully that can be done in time for UFC 302 over in New Jersey. Of course, they can't take the co-main slot, though, because that belongs to America's champ, Sean Strickland. Copyright Sean Strickland. But, yeah, I don't think Dustin Poirier wins, but I think that there's one more fight out there for him if he chooses to not hang it up after that.
I like your idea there, Clayton.
And last thing, boys, and this actually dropped officially today. This is the first time I saw the UFC post something about it. Mystic Mac.
Oh.
Making his return.
Yeah, 29th.
June 29th, UFC 303. It's headlining International Fight Week this year.
Yep. Fun fact: we moved up Carnage Fight Series to 5 p.m. so that we could get done to watch that.
Nice. It's good to know that I won't be working during that now. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
So it's also good to know it's going to take 8 hours to tear down because everyone's just going to be watching that instead of actually working.
Yeah, sorry, Kevin. That one's going to be on you, man. So,
I'll be out the door. No, it won't be on me either. I'll be out too.
But
you guys enjoy the pizza and beer.
Oh, I will. Trust me. But other than that, guys, I think that's about it. Early predictions, though. Let's do this. This will be a good YouTube clip. Early predictions, UFC 303, Chandler versus McGregor at 170. Wade, we'll start with you.
Hot take. Connor loses.
I don't know how hot that is, but okay.
I would say I don't think it's a hot take because I'm going to say the same thing, dude. I will color me shocked if Connor shows up. Be honest with you, I don't think it's going to go the distance. I may be
It's not.
overly negative here, but I don't think Connor's going to be able to go a full 5-round bout. Like I think this one will be over relatively quickly. I think it's over in the second round probably.
Yeah. Chandler doesn't fight for a 5-round fight. He goes in there, he's either going to knock you out or get knocked out.
This dude has the lowest fight IQ I think I've ever seen before in my life. Like you are a Division I college wrestler and you're standing in the pocket with Dustin Poirier, you moron. Like what are we doing? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are
Dang,
we doing?
maybe I'll go back. Maybe I will give it to Connor. Man, I don't know. I'm going with Chandler, man. I would have loved to have seen Connor fight back when he was making Burger King commercials and holding up 2 divisions for 2 years and fighting Floyd Mayweather and shit instead. I would have loved to have seen more Connor fights at that time. The current Connor that we have right now, I'm not even really that interested to watch this fight. If I'm just being perfectly honest with you guys, like I think there'll be a very exciting minute or two of this fight, and it'll be over. So honestly, I'll be more excited about the build, more excited about and that is if that Connor has ever come back. Maybe we're gonna get the Connor who doesn't say anything anymore, who doesn't have that same ability to cut that epic promo. I don't know what Connor we're gonna get, but I feel like the one that got so many people into this sport is long gone. You know, that ship has sailed. I don't think we're getting it back even for a night. So give me Chandler.
I don't think his counter striking is as crisp as before. So,
gentlemen, I have 2 statistics to give you. Number 1, statistically speaking, Conor McGregor rarely ever wins fights when they go past 8 minutes. One notable exception being Nate Diaz, but also he knocked out Eddie Alvarez at roughly 8 minutes into the fight. About 3 minutes had gone by into the second round when he did that. So if it's a round and a half, basically, or less, Conor's got a fighting chance. But we are also forgetting that Michael Chandler has a losing record in the UFC. Let's not forget that here, because he fought Dan Hook. You can justify both of his wins too. He fought Skeleton Tony Ferguson, which was 2 days ago. Front kicked him, which that was awesome. Like, that wasn't Tony Ferguson. That was Tony Ferguson's corpse. Subtle but important difference here. Lost a war with Gaethje, as most people do. Got choked out by Poirier. Happens. Got knocked out actually by Oliveira. That was the start of one of the most fun title runs I remember in my life. And then to enter the UFC, he beat a war dragged through Dan Hooker. Like, this guy hasn't beaten anybody realistically. Like, call me a hater. And I know that he's like 37 or whatever now, but like the dude hasn't beat anybody. I think Conor could beat him. You know what? Yeah, I'm disagreeing with both of you. Conor McGregor puts that titanium shin against his forehead, and we walk away with Mystic Mac probably getting an instant title shot at 170. It'll happen.
Oh yeah, one win. Yeah,
one win at 170, dude. He's fighting.
Champ
Leon,
better not
bro.
twist his ankle. They won't even make Connor fight for the interim. They'll strap it. The bare knuckle. They gave Connor their belt without him ever fighting in it. You remember that?
And they just gave him an ownership stake.
Yep.
Like, what are we doing here, people? What are we doing here,
He's
people?
hopping in. Mike Perry, what was it? The Rockhold fight, and then Connor hops in. He's got the belt. Like, why the fuck do you have the belt?
Speaking of Mike Perry, built for bare knuckle, another knockout win. He fights Brian Barberina next in bare knuckle. Heard it here first, boys.
Wait.
But also, since we're on the topic of bare knuckle, might as well bring this up. Diamond Long is fighting over in Omaha, Nebraska here in 2 weeks, May 19th. That ring a bell for anybody?
Think so.
Damn.
Maybe
I'm working the day before, but there has literally never been a reason I've ever wanted to go to Omaha, Nebraska, but now I have one.
For any new people that don't know Diamond Long is the owner of Ruthless Made Promotions, who always throws on some banger boxing series. So
yes,
great person to work with. Yeah,
a professional MMA fighter in her own right as well, and is trying her hand at bare knuckle. So good luck, Diamond. I will be watching probably like that, you know what I mean? But it's bare knuckle's just such a wild sport, dude. I hope it becomes I don't think it's legal in Ohio yet. I hope it becomes legal in Ohio someday.
I'll definitely watch it.
I am just gonna have to petition for a windshield for Clayton and I at that point.
That's not. I'm not working.
We're already dodging blood as
as it be
a side job. It's bad enough,
We'll need ponchos, like hazmat suits, the whole 9 yards. Like we're gonna have to make this work.
Ponchos could work. I might, maybe we can get some co-branded Carnage Media bite-sized sports ponchos for the commentary team. That might do something.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, I think that's pretty much everything. Canelo won a recent. We'll touch on boxing. Canelo won a fight, and Tyson Fury and Usyk fight for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world here in a couple weeks over in Saudi Arabia. But that's cool. That's fun.
I have a question for you guys about a little UFC news as my camera tries to determine where my face is and refocus. I saw a post on Twitter about the new UFC gloves. Have you guys seen them? Do you have any thoughts? Generally speaking, to those who haven't seen them, they look a little smaller to me, a little less padded.
Yep. They're going to look like there's going to be a lot more KOs.
Yes.
And maybe more fights ended because of broken hands, or guys switching up to a wrestling round because they broke their hand in the last round.
Possibly.
We'll see. I don't know. You're gonna have to wrap your hands a little different, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think generally speaking, people will you'd rather punch a little softer than have a broken finger and not be able to punch the rest of the fight. So I think generally speaking, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we hear about a lot of really damaging hand injuries in bare knuckle. I think it's kind of, if anything, you get you probably get some cuts on teeth and stuff like that. But cuts
all over here.
Yeah. I was saying you get cut. You get cut bone on bone and everything. But I don't know that it'll lead to any more hand injuries or anything. I think it's sort of, and now to pull from football, there's an interesting sort of parallel when you look at countries that play rugby. It looks almost like football 100 years ago as far as the padding, right? They're only wearing leather helmets and stuff like that. And Wade, I know you played rugby, so you can speak to this a little bit at least. There are far fewer injuries, or at least serious career-ending injuries in rugby than there are in football. And I've heard it sort of equated to the more padding you put on and you make that padding hard and plastic, you incentivize people to use their bodies as torpedoes. Whereas in rugby, you have to make a form tackle or you're going to break your own collarbone. Mm-hmm. If you try to fly into that guy like Ed Reed, it's going to be you that hurts. So I think maybe it might – I don't think it's going to actually cause any extra injuries to the fighters themselves. Wade, do you have any thoughts on that?
That's actually a big take because, in football, I'm lowering my shoulder and I'm just trying to put as much force into that as possible. When I did rugby for a short little stint, like when I go to make a tackle, I'm making sure I got good technique. I try to hurt myself, get stingers, break a collarbone. So yeah, I think that's a good take.
And they are also debuting the gold gloves for UFC 302. All championship fights starting from UFC 302 forward will be done with gold gloves.
I mean, the boxing folks have got to be pissed, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're like, hang on. Hello, copyright? Hello, that's the whole thing here, right? What are we doing? Do you guys like that? I don't
hate it.
I don't care, right? Like I don't hate it, but I'm just like it doesn't do much for me. It's like, oh, the gloves are gold. Just like, how about
That's
you
what
guys stop making everybody wear the same trunks? You know, like go back to letting. I want everybody to have all their sponsors all over. You know, if they can fit 100 on their shorts. You know, I still to this day can pick. Like I still to this day will occasionally think of Brock Lesnar if I drive by a Jimmy John's. Okay, like you know what I'm saying? Like there's certain,
or like every time I eat Jack Links, like yeah, there's one guy I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I think that's unfair to the fighters. And if you want to do something cool, I don't know. Just spray painting the gloves gold for title fights. That just ain't it for me, man. But I don't hate it either. Watch them have to pull them because somebody tries to save money and they use some cheap gold paint and they find out like it smears, it gets into cuts, gets somebody sick or something. They're like, oh, we can't do the gold gloves anymore, damn it.
Oh my gosh, that would be almost poetic to why that was a bad idea.
Don't have fanatics do it.
One more MMA thing, boys, before we bounce. The great nuke David Music is making his pro debut, rescheduled for Cage. Wow, great voice crack, dude. Holy shit. Rescheduled for Cage Fury Fighting Championships over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, June 14th, live on UFC Fight Pass.
Shout out David Music. Wow, we've seen him fight several times at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And David's always been super cool with us too. Like, you know what I mean? Even if I'm just standing there, I'll be like, "Oh, what's up, Clayton?" Like that makes me feel good, man. Like, you know what I mean? It really is that simple. So good luck, David. You best believe that we are rooting for you here at Carnage Media. But with that, boys, I think that's a show. Wade, we'll start with you. Where can the people find you?
Before we do that, did you want to do a little wrestling minute?
We can do it. We'll do it real quick because it doesn't have anything to do with wrestling today, folks. But The Rock is now back into movie making mode. And now that he's no longer around for the day-to-day, he's still on the board of directors. So people ought to be careful. But some complaints have started to go out into the ether about Dwayne maybe trying to make some things about himself, not necessarily being a team player. And right around that same time, a bunch of Hollywood insiders started to mention how The Rock is on average 6 to 8 hours late for filming on multiple movie sets. His own company refuted that, though, and they said on the set of the most recent Amazon MGM, it's read something, I don't know. The Rock plays an elf, which stands for, what is it? Enormous, large, and ferocious, or something. He plays a big monster dude that's going to rescue Santa Claus from something. It sounds horrible, if I'm being honest with you. But his own company, $7, said that they refute that 8-hour claim. They say on average, The Rock was only about an hour late to shoot every single day of work. So, you know, notoriously movies are very cheap. They don't cost a lot to make. Especially when you have hundreds of extras there, you paid all the equipment and stuff. So It's been rumored that The Rock has only cost his co-workers and companies upwards of $50 million on this one particular movie. But guys, that's not all. And I might argue it's not even the worst. But this second part isn't breaking news if you've followed The Rock on social media since, say, I don't know, 2017. At one point, this got leaked. But it was news to me. Guys, the People's Champion is not a big fan of leaving the gym to go to the bathroom, but he's also not a fan of walking off the movie set to go to the bathroom. Multiple sources have alleged that The Rock likes to urinate in water bottles rather than go to the bathroom while at work. And there was one Instagram video he made in which he accidentally showed a Voss water bottle half full of urine. And yeah, so he's admitted that he pees in bottles. Like, that's not actually like breaking news, but it was breaking news that he did it. It's one thing to do it in your own personal gym that you own. I still would just go to the bathroom, right? If I had enough money to own a gym, I'd have a nice bathroom in there I could go to multiple times in my 3-hour workout. But to piss in front of your coworkers and then have a production assistant throw it away for you is
wild.
Just the wildest thing I've ever heard of.
That's just off the rails, dude. Like, what? You literally could just pay to have a nice ass bathroom installed on set.
Yeah.
You're worth like more money than any of the three of us will ever see. Like, figure it out, dude.
Dude, he's worth more than multiple countries in this world we'll ever see, right?
Yeah.
You know, like,
has to be.
Like, it's so rich. The idea that he's peeing in plastic water bottles is just beyond me. He has lost the plot. It has to be like a power move, right? It like there's no other reason than to flex on the plebs, in my opinion. Like, it just can't be, especially if you don't show up to work on time. You can't be that worried about saving time. You're gonna piss in bottles to save 15 minutes on set when you were 4 hours late that day. Like, what?
Bro's autobiography is going to be called The Yellow Pages. Like, what are we doing here, dude? Like, what are we doing here?
That's insane.
Oh, I didn't know the Rock's favorite artist was Robert Kelly. A lot of big news in the wrestling world. So there you go, folks. I spared you any of the talk of the actual squared circle today because that was just too hilarious, and there was no way I was going to let that pass. So there you have it. Notorious pisser Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on the TKO board of executives, which probably means I have just cost myself a future job opportunity. So with that in mind, Wade, you should probably get us out of here, right? Send us home.
Yes. So if you want to catch us, Carnage Unleashed, Wednesdays at 7:30. Carnage Media PPV on all socials, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. If you want to watch all our past fights. Speaking of that, we're about to be back up and running. May 25th, we got Greer Promotions, a pro-am boxing event, so keep on the lookout for that. Kev, how about you?
Oh, I am excited. We got 2 pro boxing bouts on that card there, Wade. I know we got Lino.
Yes.
Be on the lookout for that one, folks. And don't forget, Carnage Fight Series, June 29th. Did I get that date correct, Wade?
Yes.
That's
June
coming.
29th, Carnage Fight Series.
It'll be here quicker than you know it. So be sure to check that out. Honestly, if you're a Star Wars nerd, you will see me in about 20 minutes because we'll be going live on Dweeb to talk about Tales of the Empire, giving all our thoughts on that. And there's also been some new trailer footage dropped. If you're a Fallout nerd, you can go watch the damn near 3-hour stream that James and I did with my wonderful co-host from the Clout Route as a third egg. Yeah, we had all 3 bald dudes on the screen at one time and no one's camera broke. It was amazing. You can find Danny and I live twice a week, Tuesday nights, Sunday nights, 6:15 p.m. And then, of course, Saturdays when I am not calling Carnage Media pay-per-views, I will be doing all of the play-by-play action for the Lima Warriors. Very excited to be involved with football this year. And I'm sure I'm missing a podcast or two in the mix. But hey, if you like spatial instrumental music, go check me out at Cosmic Jive on Spotify and Apple Music, because I just released an album while we were on vacation. So go check that out. That's it. Much appreciation to Frozen, Bite Size Vikes, Christopher Guzman, and everybody else that watched today. We greatly appreciate the comments and chats. Keep them coming. But we love our lurkers out there, especially good to see so many folks coming back when we were gone for a little bit. So we can't wait to hang out with you again later. Is it Clayton's turn? I forget my spot in the rotation. Clayton, where can they find you?
You guys can find my personal socials at cscolina12. Make sure to look me up on Twitter and Instagram. Follow my podcast, the Hot Take Sports Podcast, at Hot Take Sports 16 on all your social media platforms. And gentlemen, with that, I think we say goodbye to all the lovely people who joined us tonight, and we will see you all next Wednesday.
Sports. Are you looking for an energy boost without the jitters? Let our friends at Dubby Energy help you with their fantastic selection of flavors. Just visit www.dubby.gg and use the code BITESIZESPORTS at checkout for 10% off your order total. Again, that is www.dubby.gg. Code BITESIZESPORTS.